Hello and welcome back to the Doctor's Garage here on YouTube. I'm currently sat in a new facelifted Discovery 5 HSE D300 and I'm going to be telling you in this video why I'm actually really surprised about how much of an upgrade this Discovery 5 is compared to the previous non-facelifted model. At the end of 2020, the Discovery 5 was updated, and it was updated very, well, I thought, in quite a minor way. Cosmetically on the outside, there were some new engines added to the range, there were some new trim packages, the interior was tidied up a little bit. Not anything I've sort of spent time looking at though, to be honest. I have a Discovery 5 from 2018, for those that watch the channel regularly will know, and I'll update you on where we are with that very shortly. But I've never really thought about the updated, newer model, and actually having this new Discovery at the moment has been a massive surprise as to what those upgrades mean and actually how much better this car is than the previous non-facelifted model. So for those that watch the channel regularly will know, my Discovery 5 has been in Land Rover now. I think it's getting on 2 months or 9 weeks. It's been quite a long time. We're waiting for a new wiring harness, something to do with the starter circuit in the car, and there's still no sign of when that's going to be here. It's just missing in action. However, I'm not too bothered now because I have this Discovery 5 from Land Rover, and actually it wasn't Land Rover, it was Marshalls that sorted me out with this. So Marshalls as a dealership have been absolutely brilliant, to be fair. They've been so good at sort of looking after me, really. Even though the car is out of their control to a degree, it's with JLR at the moment. They've been so good at being able to get us cars when we need them. Obviously, if you watched the channel last time, you'll know I had that Toyota Hilux for a while. Had a lot of towing and stuff to do, so wanted a pickup truck for a little bit of time. But now I'm back in the Discovery 5 and I've got this now until our car's fixed. And to be honest, I'm probably going to stop pestering them because this car's brilliant and quite a lot nicer than the Discovery 5 they've got in at their workshop at the moment. So with no update, no plan on when my car's going to get fixed and get back to me, I'm running around in this for now. And this is a little bit different to my Land Rover Discovery 5. This is a 3-litre engine, it's a D300. It is the facelifted model. So this is actually a 2021 car. It's done 35,000 miles and it feels so much better than my 2018 Discovery. And I never thought, to be honest, that the facelifted model was going to be that much different. It feels like driving a different car. It just feels a lot nicer, a lot better equipped, a lot better trimmed. The engine is certainly better, but you know, that's difficult to compare because I didn't have a 3-litre in my vehicle. My 2018 is an HSE Luxury. This is an HSE, but it's an R Dynamic, which is something they've added to the range as well. When my car was launched, they didn't have the dynamic ranges and stuff. You could add the dynamic pack, but you didn't get the R Dynamic sort of whole package, which includes gloss back on lots of the parts, some little trims. I'll show you around the exterior of this car in a minute, and just some other features really. And it's an HSE, so you've got heated and cooled seats in the front. You've got the brand new PV Pro entertainment system, the new steering wheel, the new seats and trim. I guess some of this is a little bit different. We'll have a walk around in a minute, but it really does feel quite an upgrade to the Discovery that I've got. And I think some of that is because it's newer, it's tighter, it drives a bit better, the steering just feels a lot more responsive, and that's probably just wear and tear, right? This is half as old mileage wise, so maybe that doesn't explain it. But I, in a way, disappointed to myself, have really liked having this Discovery, and it's made me want another one, which is probably not so good considering all the issues we've had so far. As I'll say, and as I've always said, when these cars work, I really don't think there's a better car you can buy. If you've got like a family, if you want to tow, do stuff, you're into like, you know, you want a bit of sports with outdoor stuff, water sports, whatever you might want to do, a Discovery 5 is brilliant because you've got that combination of having a pretty luxurious car for when you need it to be luxurious, certainly inside wise, like a trim point of view, nicer than a Defender, but you've also got that little bit of utilitarianness about them, which you don't have in, let's say, the Range Rover. So I think as a compromise, as in between, the Discovery 5 is great. It's got a huge boot, great second row seating. So generally just a really good overall car. And I will always say, I think they're absolutely brilliant. The problem is I've been let down quite a lot with my Discovery over the last few years, and that does make me fear getting another one. But let's have a walk around this car. I'll show you what the exterior of it is. We'll go for a quick drive and just kind of show you a little bit more about this model that I'm in at the moment. One thing I want to mention very quickly is 90% of the people that watch this video do not subscribe to the channel. Please, 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 if you're watching this right now, click the red button just down here, click subscribe, join the journey, and you can keep updated with everything I'm doing with my Land Rovers, but anything else as well in the garage. Starting from the inside, so this is the new steering wheel. This is essentially, I think this came off the Defender, to be fair. It's exactly the same as the Defender wheel. You've then got the new Pivi Pro entertainment system here, which is much, much nicer than what was in the Discovery before. Just the upgraded things like, you know, areas like this, you can pull and push, got heated and cooled to control the fan there, and then you can push in to then put cooled seats or heated seats. This is quite a nice system, actually. I like it that you've still got buttons. The problem for me with the Range Rover is you've got this glass screen, you've got another glass screen all through here, and so it's just a lot of, you can't really see what you're doing when you're trying to drive. It's nice to be able to actually use buttons and hold on to stuff. As always with Discovery, you've got this little bit here, and just generally it's a really good, useful infotainment system. Works very well, very intuitive, and actually, to be honest, is much smoother than what I had with mine. Some of the things you find as well, though, like ride height and stuff is on here, which is a bit annoying because before it was just a button you could move up and down. But really, I mean, most of the things that I actually use regularly, you know, are here what we need. Got a new gear selector. Rather than the sort of classic Discovery pop-up and twist thing, you've got this as a little sort of lever here. You've got the volume control, and then you've got all your stuff to do with, like, you know, different off-road modes that you might want to do. So yeah, it's different, it's nicer, it just feels a lot more well put together. I think from a steering wheel perspective, you've got these gear selectors in metal, which feels really nice. But then you've got these end caps, which are they look like they're aluminium, but they're actually plastic. And I do think it's a little thing, but I think this sort of devalues it a little bit for me. I feel like that could easily have just been a little bit of billet aluminium to match that, and it would just make it feel a lot better when you're driving. I think things that you touch quite regularly, it's important that they feel nice, and I think that just lets me down a little bit there. So that's the side generally. Trim, it's got this kind of fabric material here, so it's not, I don't think it's leather. It feels quite hard wearing though, which is what I like about the Discovery. As I mentioned, it's quite a hard wearing vehicle. And seat wise, really comfortable seats, hold you a little bit better than my seats. Again, are they just 30,000 miles newer? Quite possibly. You've got the armrest as well, so you get that little bit of Range Rover comfort in a Discovery, which I really like. It's got the pan roof, but not the opening one, so it's just fixed here, which mine is opening, but I haven't missed, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it's necessarily a feature that I would need. And then let's take a look outside. So outside, from the outside, these cars, I think if you didn't know much about cars, didn't know much about Land Rover, you probably would think this just looks like a Discovery 5, exactly the same as mine from 2018. But there are some differences. So you've got, firstly, all of the bits in gloss black. You've got these, which, if you remember from the channel, I stuck on mine to give that dynamic look. You've got the kind of lower splitter. All this is gloss, which is a dynamic pack feature. The new honeycomb grille. Land Rover always change the grills for the new models just to give an upgraded look. And these lights as well are all new as well. And I think the light signature on the Discovery generally is what gives it away, particularly from the rear, which we'll walk around in a minute. There's a whole new wheel range added for the for this year, the facelifted model. Quite cool wheels it's got on it. And again, all this is gloss black. And you've got the little R-Dynamic badge down there. Obviously little gloss black side scuttles. As I mentioned, this is the HSE, not the luxury. They don't do an HSE luxury, I don't believe, now. So it doesn't have the TVs and the headrests like the luxury did in 2018. But again, definitely not an essential bit of kit to have, I don't think, even though it does make long drives a lot more comfortable with children. So from the rear, it's a different look. You've got the LED sort of running lights, I guess, in the vehicle, which are lower down. They're kind of, the whole light unit isn't quite as red. It's more sort of subtle and more stealth looking. And that is, for me, probably the giveaway. That's how I know when I'm driving behind a new Discovery, to be honest, is just the LED light signature. Light units are a little bit different. Again, it's gloss blacks all through the bottom here. This does have a tow bar as well, by the looks of it. It does, must have an electronic deployable tow bar, which is a very good option, I think. On any Land Rover, I think you need a tow bar, because that's what these vehicles are made for. So yeah, so overall, it looks very similar to my Discovery. However, there's quite a few subtle differences, but I don't think you'd probably know unless you were into your cars and into your Land Rovers particularly. Let's go for a drive, a little chat. So this is a 3-litre engine, like I say, and I probably will do a video because I've had a 2-litre for so long and lived with a 2-litre. I can really feel the differences between driving this and the 2-litre engine. So maybe a video I'll do on Discovery engines in general, but I really feel this engine suits Discovery really well. It gives it a lot of pulling power, and it's actually pretty fast, to be honest, as well. It just feels like it's the engine that this car was meant to have in it. Whereas I think sometimes with the 2-litre, although you get a really good economy out of the 2-litre, and potentially a whole lot of problems, I do feel like you're slightly underpowered sometimes, particularly when you're towing, and I tow quite a lot. Boats, caravans, that sort of thing. And so for me, having a 3-litre engine, I think, would be definitely the choice if I was going to go for a Discovery again. So I think for me it's just a real eye-opener compared to having had the Toyota Hilux and that Kia for the last 8 weeks, how quiet and how refined the ride in the Discovery is. It's so smooth, it's so quiet, it soaks up the bump so well, and it's really just it's not an exhausting car to drive. So you can be in this vehicle for hours on end and it feels like you're in a lounge. It's just sat at home very comfortably. It doesn't get tiring, it's not uncomfortable, and it just soaks up the miles really, really well. As just a cruiser to do distance in and go on holiday and drive distance, it's such a comfortable car to be in, and such a well-suited car for that sort of trip. As mentioned, I do think the TVs in the back are a great addition if you've got children. I mean, feels like bad parenting, but we've used the TVs so much in the back of the car. Just watching DVDs and stuff when we're going places, it just buys you a good hour of time for them just to watch something and keep busy. So it's been a really good thing, and I think I'd be quite sad, to be honest, to lose that, because it has been so good having it. It wasn't something I particularly wanted, it just came with the last spec because we got a luxury, it came with them at the time, but it's definitely something that now I've realised is quite a nice thing to have if you can have it. And you can retrofit them, to be honest, you can retrofit them if you wanted to. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that, in all honesty, what I end up doing next time. But yeah, it is just such a smooth, comfortable drive, and yeah, something I didn't probably sort of, I don't know, value as much as maybe I should have done at the time. So that is generally the vehicle, and I really enjoyed having it back. Maybe because I haven't had my car for 2 months, just over 2 months, and had a Kia Sportage for a while, then I had a Toyota Hilux, and now being back in Discovery, you really appreciate all those little things, the little refinements, like how quiet it is when you're driving, how smooth it is over bumps, the stuff that I probably just took for granted, you really do feel when you're back in this vehicle. And for some reason, the seating position is always so good in a Land Rover. So the way you sit, the view you've got of the road, the bonnet, it's just such a good position to be on the road. And I'm really torn as to what to do, to be honest, because our car will be back quite soon. I imagine it'll be back even sooner than I thought. Now we've got this, because as I mentioned, this is nicer than the vehicle they've got of ours. So for them, I guess they want to put us back in ours so they can get us out to another customer. But I've really enjoyed having it, and I'm in no rush now to chase them to get it fixed. So what do you do? I mean, something like this is like I say, a 2021 35,000 miler with the 3-litre engine, the HSC. It's got all the right kit on it, to be honest, stuff that I would want on it. I would quite happily swap mine for this, but I'm sure they're going to want quite a lot of money to swap and do a trade. But it might be worth a discussion, right? The thing is getting one of these is great, and like I say, when they work and if they have no problems, they're absolutely brilliant. They're such good vehicles for so many reasons. But when they start having problems, as you know, if you follow the channel, it's just a nightmare, and it just goes on and on and on. And I suppose this current problem is a new one for me, because yeah, somebody can have problems, and that's fine if they're covered under the warranty or whatever, you've got approved warranty. But when you have problems and then it just drags out and out and out, and you've got no timeline, then you haven't got a vehicle, and that is a problem, particularly when you're jumping into different cars and stuff, and that's when it becomes a real pain, to be honest, and that's what's put me off. If I could have this and it would be guaranteed that it wouldn't really have many issues, and it was like other manufacturers, which I do believe have less issues, then I think I'd be very, very tempted to get back into a Discovery. Even though I have heard that there is a new Discovery potentially coming out, probably going to be like 2026 though, so a Discovery 6. Very interested to see what Land Rover do with the Discovery 6. I know they are splitting the sort of splitting the model lines out quite a lot. So you've got the Defender model line, you've got the you know, Range Rover, you've got Discovery. So I think they're going to be like separate almost brands, and so the Discovery 6 will be really interesting, and I think a very exciting upgrade compared to when you look at Discovery 4 to a 5. Massive changes, so Discovery 6 should be interesting too. But let's so yeah, so I'm not really sure what to do now, to be honest. Just waiting to see how we get on, enjoying living in this car, and it's put me in a real dilemma because I didn't think a new Discovery was going to be quite as different and quite as nice as I thought it was going to be. So there you go. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. As always, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.